So, moving on to probably one of the most anticipated films of the festival. I've heard a lot of people talking about this, and it does look very interesting. Greg, you went on to watch The Villainess.
Yeah, so The Villainess is the last film that either me or Tom saw on Sunday. And yeah, it's a South Korean sort of action film. Again, not really horror, but it does sort of fit in with FrightFest kind of MO. And this is notable because when it played at the Cannes Film Festival, at the end of the film, the audience gave it a 4-minute standing ovation. So they obviously really liked it. So the synopsis is it is about a young girl. So at the very start of the film, so have you seen Old Boy?
Yes.
So you know in Old Boy, that's a very, very famous scene where the main character is in a corridor and he kills lots of people and it's all one take.
Yes.
So the opening sort of 5 or 10 minutes of The Villainess is essentially that, but on steroids. So essentially, what you have is a first-person perspective of someone in a corridor, and you've got all these kind of gangsters. They're all attacking her, and she's got a sword, and she basically kills loads of people. It's all very, very, very well done. So it's all first-person, lots of very, very. It's not even quick cuts to start off with because it all feels like one take. And so you got all these people dying. There's 360 shots, and then at the end of that, you end up in another room. And basically, there's all these people in the room, and you're thinking, oh, fuck. But anyway, in the end, she kills, it must be about 100 people just in the first 5 minutes of the film alone, which is pretty fucking awesome, I'm not going to lie. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed this. It's the first hour especially moves at such a frenetic pace that literally time just flies by, which is the great thing about these kind of South Korean films. So I'm a huge fan of kind of films from South Korea, generally like Old Boy, but there are lots of others. Like last year in particular, there was Train to Busan, which played at FrightFest. It was the closing film last year, and the way that they do these kind of films is there's just something really, really special about it. And yeah, so on the whole, really enjoyed it, although I mean there were a couple of issues I had.
What were the issues with The Villainess?
So in terms of issues, so as I said, the opening awesome, and the pace is so quick. So all this stuff happens, you've got a lot of flashbacks. What I like about these kind of films is that in sort of mainstream Western cinema, what happens is you have to tell a story in a certain way. Like you'll notice in a lot of horror films, it's like we've got to introduce the characters first, and that takes about 30 minutes, and then stuff has to slowly start to happen, and then things only really start, the shit only really starts to hit the fan in like the last sort of 20 minutes. Whereas in this, it's like literally like boom, and then we got a flashback, and then boom, more action, and then boom. You get the exposition in that way. So the film isn't really boring. So when it gets going, it's sort of really, really awesome. And it's a little bit hard to follow in places because a lot of it is flashback driven, and you're not really sure what's really going on at times. And the second half, it's a bit slow because naturally when you've got such a frenetic pace at the start, when it actually settles down and you've got a bit of a more conventional romantic story, it's going to really stand out. And the film is about 2 hours long. It could probably lose 10 or 15 minutes and it probably wouldn't have been missed. But overall, really enjoyed it. Really frenetic, very, very highly recommended. Lots of very, very fast cutting, like Paul Greengrass style sort of action scenes, like that kind of thing. So yeah, if you're into your action, this is definitely highly recommended from my good self.